Hi, it's Dielle, and we are now at the fourth gate of sound, which is all about words. I want to tell you a little story, and then I'll get on to the first practice that you'll be doing at the fourth gate. And actually, this particular practice doesn't really have a beginning and ending. Once you start it, it's kind of a thing that carries on throughout different times of your life. So I remember I had a friend, he was fairly new, and we spent the afternoon together, and we just laughed and were really silly and had a lot of fun together. And I remember telling him, wow, you are just like family. And he looked aghast and insulted, and we talked about it, and I to me, I come from a very close family. We always, when we got together, not always, believe me, there were problems too, but we were always close and able to laugh very easily with each other and be silly. And so for me, that's kind of what I equate with someone being like family. Whereas for him, he grew up in a totally different environment, and for him it meant, being like family meant, being a pain in the ass and someone who wouldn't accept you for who you were. And so I totally understood why, telling him he was like family was an insult. For him it was. Coming from me, it was a compliment. So the whole idea here is that certain words mean certain things to certain people based on their experiences, their conditioning, etc. And another person will not be triggered by that same word, even, if there might be a word that like absolutely enrages you, and gets you very upset. Well, the same word with someone else might not cause any problems whatsoever. We're in a very politically correct time in human history, and it's why this idea of being so careful around our words not to insult people is kind of a crazy game, because not everybody is going to be insulted by the same words. Sure, we all have our reasons why certain words will trigger us. His reason made perfect sense to me once he explained it, and once I explained mine, he understood what I had meant and intended as well. So this practice at this gate is all about what Matrina called our New World Dictionary. And you're creating your world with your words, and you are deciding what they mean. So, in his case, he could choose to redefine family to mean something else, so that when people used it like I had intended, his mind would be open to that idea. It's the same with any word that triggers us. We don't have to be emotionally triggered by words if we can clear them for ourselves. And it takes a little bit of work, that's all. And I'm not saying that, that there aren't certain words that shouldn't be used in certain contexts. I'm not getting political here or anything. This is about you and what words are keeping you from your personal freedom and from being at peace, with whatever somebody says. We don't need to waste our energy getting upset over words. So take a look at the words that do trigger you and start to take an inventory. Write them down. Write down what they mean to you. Write down maybe some of the beliefs behind them. In The Unknown Mother, there was the example of service. And for me, that was a really big trigger word for a long time. And I hated when people said, you need to be of service. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? I used to get so triggered over it. And now I use that word all the time. It's like, I want to be of service. It's because I changed my definition of service. So this is your role here at this gate, to start a New World Dictionary. Find all the words in your dictionary, or the most triggering ones. Write them down, look at them, investigate, find out what they mean to you, what are all the buried things, conditionings, beliefs that are associated with the word, and then begin to think about what you want it to mean. What in its purest form is it meant to mean as well? And then go from there. So I'll give you another example, which is this one I've had come up recently, and also several years ago when I was teaching a workshop. It was a group of women, and I remember addressing them as you guys. And two of the women in the group, they got really offended, and it was like, okay, we'll they explained their reasons, which I didn't really understand, but I was happy to, refrain from calling the group you guys, because I understood they had a problem with that. But then I also really wanted to drive across to them that they were losing power to a word. And, there was no malintent in me using that word. If it was used to demean, if it was used to ignore, or I don't know, but there was none of that there, not for me and not for any of the other women in the group too, which is an important aspect because, again, one word will make one person go nuts, and the same word, no reaction. So imagine what your life would be like if you were in that place where words did not make you react and go out of your center and get enraged and feel offended, That's the energy that we're working with here. And when we reclaim that energy, we have it for other things. So this is really critical work. It's very useful, but you got to do the work, and no one can do it for you. And it does take time, and it does take, setting aside time to contemplate and think about. And that can sometimes be a luxury if you're really busy. But I highly, highly recommend this. Don't underestimate the power of pulling back energy from words. Okay. I'll see you for the next practice soon. Bye-bye.